Hey friends, hey, welcome back to the show. It's Nikayla here, and as you can hear, I've lost my voice. And so, in the spirit of my recent episode on burnout, I'm gonna go ahead and take my own advice and give myself a rest. I wanted to push through, but it's only right that I behave in the manner that I plan to for all of 2026 and beyond, and it is to listen to my body and listen to myself. And so, we're gonna close out the year with some amazing reprises, rewind episodes from some of my top recent episodes that I just love so much and mean so much to me. And I hope that you'll enjoy these episodes, take the tips, take the advice and the learnings into 2026. And then I'll see you again back healthy and better than ever in 2026, which by the way, will be my 10th anniversary year of Side Hustle Pro. I can't wait to show you what I have in store. So thanks so much for your support this year and every year. Thanks for rocking with me. And now let's get into the show.
Hey friends, hey, welcome back to the show. It's Nikayla here, and I am so excited to have Tricia Lee in the guest chair today. If you don't know, Tricia Lee is the founder and leader of the highly talented Tricia Lee Team at Serhant. After breaking into the industry with record-breaking first-year sales numbers at her former brokerage, Tricia went on to sell over $200 million in her solo career before jumping to Serhant and simultaneously joining forces with her partner, Jeffrey. Together, they lead Team Tricia Lee with a focus on home sales and luxury rentals. One of the things I admire so much about Tricia is the fact that she is really great at marketing herself and her business. She is a serial entrepreneur, so to speak. She first started a company called Polish Bar, and we'll talk about that in the episode. And now she has pivoted into real estate. So in today's episode, we talk about starting up in entrepreneurship. We talk about her pivot and so much more. I hope this inspires you to reinvent yourself if you need to change direction if you need to, and to overall just believe in yourself. So let's get right into it. Welcome officially to the Side Hustle Pro guest chair.
Thank you. This is my first podcast I ever listened to, so it's really exciting to be on it.
I am so honored. I am so honored that is the first podcast you ever listened to. So that just helps me to continue to push, continue to keep going through the ebbs and flows of life and career. Like, keep going, girl. Like, people are listening and it's impactful. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. I was like, I wish I could do that one day. That's so amazing. And the name got me. I didn't know who you were, but the name, I was like, oh, that's all me. What's that about?
Yeah. That's why we do it, that SEO factor. And interestingly enough, I've been following you for a while as well. I was like, okay, Soror, real estate broker in Brooklyn. When I'm ready to buy my brownstone, I'm coming to her. So it was just like serendipitous that we finally met last weekend at the OOO Summit. And I have been deep diving, learning all about your story. And I just am so inspired by you. So had to have you here. And I want to know, how did you even get on the path to entrepreneurship? I know you opened the Polish Bar as your first kind of foray, but how did that even come about?
I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew that was something I wanted to do. I grew up in a single family home, and like my mom had such a rigid schedule. I think that created a desire in me just to have, like, the only thing I could remember thinking is I want more flexibility than that. Like, I wasn't opposed to working hard. I wasn't opposed to the grind. I just wanted to have a say versus this like routine schedule. Like, every morning when I was a child, we woke up at 7. We were out the door at 8:05. Like, it was just so routine. I don't like that. I don't like anything that's the same all the time. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm not traditional in that way. So that's what birthed the idea of doing my own thing came from. And I would say along the way, a lot of people were like, oh, you should run your own business since you're so damn nosy, or since you're so damn bossy, or since you have so much to say.
Yes. You strike me as someone who was calling the shots from a young age. Are you the oldest? Are you the only child? Like, what is it?
So I'm the oldest girl, which, means you're the oldest. Say what you will. That's my story. I'm the oldest girl. And just that's my personality. I've always been bossy, honestly. Yeah. Like, that was like what I was called as a child, was like, she's so bossy. Yes. She always got something to say. Always advocated for myself, even though I didn't know that was how you described it,
So you were a boss. You were a boss.
Yeah. Like, people, I think anybody would say that across any era of my life that's met me.
Yes.
I now know better where it comes from, but for most of my life, I didn't know why I was like that, because I wasn't around that, and that wasn't really something that was shown to me. I think it was just something that was in me, is what I've learned.
Interesting. Where do you think it comes from?
Well, now, like as a fully formed adult and like someone that's done the work to like, like figure out what moves you and who you truly are. I had a really great experience in the last few years where I got to learn a lot about my birth mother. And that's something I
Ah,
had never had. That was a big void in my life for all of my life. And then to come
really?
the end of 2022, yeah, I got to sit down and just become fully educated on my birth mother. And my birth mother passed away when I was under 2 years old.
Oh,
So I lived
wow.
my whole life not having a really good understanding of kind of like, if you, for lack of a better term, for like really who I was in a lot of ways. And I think that when that happened, and it was
Yeah.
just like one afternoon, like I want to say November 14th, 2022,
Hmm.
and just coming out of that situation in like a 3 hour conversation, I mean, a light just came on for me that I
Wow.
was like, these people have just described this woman to me in such immense detail. And there's no one in this world that wouldn't have thought that they were talking about me. Like anyone
Wow.
that would have listened to those details would have been like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's Tricia. Yeah, that's Tricia. So for me, it was like, sad, but it was also super beautiful that like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, oh, okay. So you're like, this is just who you are. Like it's
Yes.
in you, And
Yes.
they
Yes.
always say nature versus nurture. And
Hmm.
not that I didn't have a wonderful nurturing situation. My stepmom is like goals. Like she is so much of a reason of who I am and my perseverance and how
Hmm.
I've been able to even navigate the world, not having a true understanding of who I was for all those years.
Yeah.
But my mom was a boss and
Yes.
she touched a lot of lives and she was powerful and she was an entrepreneur and she was influential. And so learning that about myself at this big age, just like it just closed so many gaps for
Oh,
me.
I'm
And
so glad you
I've
had
just been
that.
forever changed by it. And I
Yes.
think I have changed the way I even move in the world now. And so
Knowing
I
that.
will say, some people, you may think you know me, but you don't know this version of me because I am now in a
Wow.
space where I just don't feel the need to really prove myself or
Hmm.
apologize for anything about myself now. And I don't know if that's better or worse, but that's where I'm
I
at.
think that is beautiful. I'm so glad you had the opportunity to have that, because
Yeah.
I'm sure now you think like, what if I never even had this piece, right? So I can understand the bittersweet nature of it, but I'm so grateful that you have that now. And
Yeah. And I worked through the life not thinking that I needed it. That's what was
mhm,
really sad. And I just was like,
yeah.
I decided who I am and I'm here now. And that's just who I am. And then like that one conversation, I mean, I didn't have the ability to manage the tears. I didn't have the
Oh,
ability to manage the emotion. I didn't have the ability to manage the gratitude. It was just
yes.
it was just a life-changing moment, a
Yes.
life-changing moment, a life-changing day.
Wow. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that with me. That's a piece of your story. I did so much listening and stalking. And that is a
Yeah.
piece I did not know.
It's very recent and I wasn't sure that I wanted to start sharing it, but I thought that I should. And that's
Yeah.
very recent. Like in the last month, I would say I decided to start sharing it.
Wow.
Yeah. Cause I
Well,
think that like my commitment is to make sure people don't think that things are easy. You
mhm.
know, that's
And
what I'm really committed to. It's like there's so many glamorous personas and characters out there in the world, and they want you to think that everything is beautiful and easy.
yeah.
And I just
Yes.
feel like I owe the world more than that. Like I feel like
Yes.
I need to matter more than that and be more honest
Right.
about what it is and how I got here.
That actually really blesses me. And that even changes how I feel about this interview, right? Because you're right. Social media, without meaning to, it is great because it's a portfolio and it can help with business, but then it anchors who people think you are. And so for me coming into this interview, you heard, we talked about it a little. I'm like, Tricia Lee got her stuff together. I got to get myself together. Like, I got to be ready. I gotta,
You were like,
I'm like, talk to her.
I'm here cutting up.
No, because it's funny.
She said, I am snatched for the gods, bronze to death,
I'm ready to
contoured for your life, honey.
No, it's funny when we we met. We met on a Saturday, so I'm coming off of wrangling 2 kids in the morning, like barely
I
got my life
know.
together, just sweating, just I don't even know.
I know. Everything held together with a
What was
safety
happening.
pin, girl. You know, I know.
Barely held together. I'm like, I'm just gonna show up for this conference. I will keep my word.
Look, one of them real quick. I'm just going to do this real quick.
I'm gonna do this real quick and get back to my life. Please, God, don't let me see too many people, right? And then I bump into, and then you're on the panel. I'm like, oh gosh. But I was so grateful to meet you. But back to what you were saying, I think it's so important to share that. And as people who, on the one hand, we have to show up in the world and we have to prove that we got it together because we got to make this money, right? We have to show up and show out.
Yeah.
But people need to know that there's not perfection here. Like there's literally you should see what my bathroom looks like now, right? You should see the laundry, the piles all around my house right now, right? And for you, now you're on this reality show and you're slaying left, right, and you are making hundreds of millions of dollars, but you're still human.
I'm not making, I'm selling.
Selling. Well,
selling. If I was making, honey, we would have never done this podcast.
We wouldn't be here.
My reception in the Maldives is poor. I can't do no podcast for nobody.
Give me 10 million. All I need is 10.
I'm out. You'll never see me again. Like never. The social shutdown, website shutdown.
Boom.
We don't know where she went. She's braiding hair in Mexico now.
That meme that says, I'm not going to tell you, but there will be some.
You'll know. You will see the sign.
Oh my gosh. But so we're going to have an honest talk today. And today I want to know, when did you open the Polish Bar? Like how far into your career were you at this point to open it up?
So I was in beauty. It's the only thing I'd ever done. I was in beauty in college. I you go in the mall when you're in high school and college, and the beauty girls were just cute. Their makeup looked good, and they were cute. I always loved beauty though. So I was always into it my whole life. I just love beauty, love fashion, love shoes. I remember being in the 5th grade and being like, I own 50 pairs of shoes. And this girl was like, you don't own 50 pairs of shoes. And I was like, come to my house, you can count them. Who does that? That's insane. But we were our family was from New York. So we were very much influenced by that 80s New York energy my mom dressed her ass off. My grandmother dressed her ass off, and they dressed their kids' asses off. That's just who we were. Yeah. So I always loved it. Always had me a little Vogue, always had a magazine, always had my Essence, always had my inspiration, and always was, doing my little outfits and stuff. I can tell you what I wore to school the first day of every grade.
What?
Still. Yeah. Down to the socks, honey, and the earrings. I just always loved that stuff. So when I started working in college, I had found out, I was working in handbags. I found out the girls in the beauty section made the most money per hour. Done.
Okay.
Hi.
There.
I'd like to apply. Literally, when I heard that, walked away from the counter and went up to the beauty director and was like, hi, how can I come over here and work over here? So I got a job in beauty and just worked in beauty my whole life. And at a certain point, I'm obviously moving up and I'm working in retail development. I'm working in retail management, and I'm managing millions and millions of dollars of retail business. And I just started kind of coming up with a business concept, which was Polish Bar. Didn't have the name at the time, but that's what it was. And around 2005, I decided to quit my job. I was very young, but being very young means I didn't have any expenses. I didn't have a lot of bills.
What was the job at that part? Was that when you were at Mac?
I was at Mac.
Yeah.
Well, I'd been at Mac for maybe, I think 8 years or something like that. But I'd been at Lauder since 18.
Got it.
So I had my 401k, all that stuff. So I'd only been at one company. When I got to Mac in whatever year that was, they got bought out by Estee Lauder. So I ended up leaving Estee Lauder just to go right to Estee Lauder. Mm-hmm. So I started crafting a business model. I had taken classes at Bedside Restoration for home ownership and for small business. So I just started doing what I was being taught how to do, and I just started working on it. And I think eventually it just got so big of an idea that it just kind of needed to happen. So I decided to quit my job and to do it. And I prepared. It's not a decision as much as it is things were rolling in that direction. So when I quit my job, I was prepared, and I had a really, really supportive partner that believed that I could do it too. And so he was like, yeah, you do that and I'll hold down the fort. And I was just so fortunate, to be able to do that, because so many people don't have that kind of help. But he was like, this is what you want to do. you do it. Like, I'll make sure the lights are on and the bills are paid. And, he moved in with me so that I didn't have
Wow.
this many expenses. Like, he really sacrificed a lot so that I could propel forward. And like, having a good man in your life is just so important. And that's why I'm like not really flexible with that now. Like, even, people be like, oh, Jeff is wonderful. And like, they kind of all have to be. Otherwise they have no purpose of being here. Like, they don't have no reason to be here if they're not.
But like,
it's the truth. Like, they just have any reason to be here. So like the standard was always high in that way, and I don't think that that's something I have to like sugarcoat. It's the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look at me. I have a right to be particular about who I date, like whatever, like I feel like I am strong-headed, capable. I'm a partner in anything I do. So I don't think it's crazy to ask that of whoever partners with me. Yep. So I had a really, really good partner and he helped me so much. And I did this business and it just took off and it was just insane. It was like, I could not keep up. I always felt like I was like flapping behind the cart, like the wagon is moving and I'm like,
right,
it didn't look like that. You know what I mean? But it always felt that way. And I think that's where I figured out that how I presented my brand had nothing to do with the truth. So people thought it was a franchise. Well, because like I was very much into branding. And at that time, small business didn't focus a lot on branding. But, I'm coming out of working at Mac. So I'm like, brand, marketing. So I'm treating my small business very much like a chain. I'm treating it. I mean, my business, like, inspirations were Bath and Body Works and Neiman Marcus. Like, that's what I would look at. Like, I remember looking at Bloomingdale's and that was like, whatever their store hours are, that's me, my store hours. I never looked at what was like around me. I always looked at what I wanted to achieve as a model, And
what was around you when you launched? So did you launch in Clinton Hill, Brooklyn? Was that the first store? Okay.
I was in Clinton Hill and I knew no entrepreneurs. Yeah. I don't even know if I knew any homeowners at that time because at that time I owned my home. I was on some different activities, and that's why I don't have a lot of great New York City party stories because I've always been in the trenches. Like, I don't have a lot of those stories.
Yeah,
like,
you were always on the grind.
Yeah, people like, I was not there. I was working.
Yeah. What was real estate cost like back then? Like when you were investing in your home and in Polish Bar's first location? Like now it's like what? Average is what? $2 million for a brownstone. So like, what did you have to put down?
Absolutely. My first purchase was a co-op and it was what I could afford. And like, I went to a home buying workshop, like literally at Bed-Stuy Restoration. And I say that because like, a year or two ago, they awarded me with Entrepreneur of the Year award. And they're like the gatekeepers of Bed-Stuy. Yeah, and a big deal. But I'm like, you don't even know I'm sitting up here taking an award for stuff I learned in your class. Because it was free and that's what I could afford, I remember my first lease was like $5,000 a month for a space. And I remember my mortgage and maintenance at that time was probably like $2,400 or something like that. So I was like taking on a retail space that was going to be double my living costs, but you just make a way out of no way half the time. Right. Yeah. And we all do it. And just because I have on blush and lipstick doesn't mean my road is any different. I just ain't about to be out here looking crazy. That's
what were the first few months like? Did you start with a good customer base or was it slow at first?
You know what? That's when I really realized that I can market my ass off because I started off packed. Like crazy, like sorry, like all day long. Sorry, wow. And like this horrible reputation, like, oh, it's cute, but you can't even get in there. Like that was just it. Oh
no.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm really good at marketing. Like that's what I'm really good at. I remember a friend of mine was like, they're just clamoring for this shit. And I was like,
yes. Yeah. The experience makes a difference. Yeah. And you started something that you didn't see often at the time in Brooklyn, that just like a full, like this was like stuff people were expecting out of Manhattan, I'm sure.
Yeah. And also like, it was like never in Brooklyn really. And then it was also never owned by a Black person either. And I just felt like I created what I wanted. That was really it. Like it was very selfish if you think about it. I was like, I want that. Like, why is it when people come to visit me from Arizona, I got to take them to Manhattan for nice stuff? That's nonsense. Like I live in a beautiful neighborhood. I deserve that here. And so I was just solving my own problem when I started my business. And sometimes I think that that's where you have to start, But the business was super successful from the beginning. We grew right away. I want to say I opened my second business a year and a half in, which was
second
a
location.
Second location,
Okay.
and like a bigger location with like double the team, double the space, double the expense. But that was my first world of being an entrepreneur. And that's where I kind of like worked out a lot of my kinks, learned about, email marketing, learned about print marketing, learned about, word of mouth and service and consistency with service and promotions and things like that. I learned all the things I had to learn there. And so much of the business was being impacted by real estate. Like at the time, a lot of our clients were being shifted out of the neighborhood. They couldn't afford there anymore. They were renting. They couldn't afford to buy. Luckily, I had bought, so I was protected in that way.
Yeah.
So a lot of those lessons that I now share, like I went through, I learned. My clients are like leaving the neighborhood and real estate prices are going up. Therefore, rents are going up and locations. My second location was like double what my first location was. Ooh. So I just like, decided that real estate was heavily impacting this small business, and it made me pay attention to real estate more. And then I had a best friend. I literally just got off the phone with her right before we got on this podcast. And she was in real estate. She was a developer. So that was a really quick cheat for me because I knew her side of the story. I knew her struggle. I knew her work. I knew her success. And, she always was like, you'd kill this shit. Like you would kill it.
Yeah. And give you that insider peek at it before you jump.
And this is like a woman that like 31 years old is building communities in North Carolina on waterfront. You know what I mean? Like who does that? So it's like, I've always been around like really insane personalities and characters like that. I've always been so fortunate.
I love the audacity. Like you're around audacity women.
Imagine?
Like, why can't we? Why wouldn't we? Of course.
Yeah. And it's like this no apology mindset about everything, So I started like deciding to like study real estate as like just as a side hustle. Let's be quite honest. That's what it was going to be because like beauty was my love. And then as I dipped my toe in, I was like, oh, I really like it. And I like the fact that it was flexible, more flexible than running storefronts too, because that was a lot. Like there was always something going on, something breaking, something like there was just, operations is its own, bag of challenges. So real estate allowed me to run this business and it was lucrative, but it didn't require all the day-to-day operations and responsibilities. And I had become really exhausted by that. So it just made sense to move. And I said, I just put it in my mind. I was like, as soon as I make this much money or as soon as I do this many transactions, I'm exiting. And that came very quickly. It was like 6 months.
Wow. Yeah. So had you exited Polish Bar at all? Like, did you still have both locations when you started real estate? Because that sounds like a lot.
I had both locations when and I talked to my team about like shrinking down because we were like having such a struggle at the second location. It was so big. And while the neighborhood grew in Prospect Heights, the client body wasn't really checking for us like that.
Okay.
And neighborhoods change, right? Culturally, they change. And
especially in Brooklyn.
And so both of my neighborhoods, I always had a really diverse customer base. You know what I mean? That's just like, I was in downtown Brooklyn. That's just what it was. But I shifted from having like these creative fashion, beauty, writer, photographer, energy people. Like all my clients were that. Yeah. And then they were like kind of soccer mom energy for New York. They shifted to that. Then it was like Subarus and, $40,000 a year tuition. Subarus, like it was, and I'm not shading anybody, but the focus is different. You know what I mean? I went from having girls that would not walk around with their nail chipped to girls that did it right before vacation as a treat.
Okay.
So then I had to like market to 10 times more women because I didn't have Karen coming in at 4:00 every Thursday. Like I knew my clients' names, I knew their birthdays, I knew their credit card numbers. Definitely knew their husband's credit card numbers. But it shifted and all things shift. And I'm not the person to resist change. I feel like that's a very sour place to sit and it gets you nowhere. Like it just doesn't. Like I remember buying my apartment and somebody's like, I would never pay that for that apartment. You could have gotten it so-and-so back in the day. Well, bitch, we ain't back in the day. We here today. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
we ain't back in the day.
We ain't back in the day. And like, the minute people start talking like that, I detach because I'm like, we literally could never be friends because you're stuck in the what was, and I'm trying to figure out what's about to be. Like, we just, and I know it's a mindset, but I run from those personalities because I'm like, that resentment that you build, not of understanding that things are going to change and you better change with it.
Right.
We don't have nothing in common. I'm sorry.
Nothing.
Like we don't. We can never, and you would probably hate me if you got to know me. Let's be honest.
You know, I'm realizing that I just like the mindset, the energy that I need right now is a very specific energy. And if you even start to complain too much, I'm like, I'm retracting myself from this because
Mm-hmm.
I literally cannot afford to think like that and continue to thrive and pay my bills and grow and, have the kind of life that I'm building for me and my family. Like, I
It
literally
can't even
can't stay
seep
there.
in.
Yeah, it
You know
can't
what I
even
mean?
seep in. This is
Yeah,
not going to help me. This is not going to work. They don't go
100%.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also kind of like I've been in New York for like 20 years. So I've
Yeah.
watched what it's gotten them. You know, I'm like, you
Mm,
ain't doing nothing different than you were 2 decades ago.
yeah.
Chatting about how things used to be. Like it's
Yeah.
great however they used to be, but it's not currently. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, things are being shifted and things are moving and this is what it is. Like, let me figure something else out.
Yeah.
I didn't get stuck on like why it was changing. The last
Yeah.
year my business was open, we had no water like 30% of the time.
What?
The city was having some irrigation issue.
Oh, no.
And I think what happened is the overdevelopment of the community had
Mm,
created like to where the sanitation and irrigation wasn't able to keep up with the body count, really.
wow.
And all I know is Polish Bar had no water at random hours of the day, every
How
single
did
day,
that
Monday through
impact your
Friday.
Yelp and Google reviews? Was that a thing then?
They were on,
Yeah.
when I say lit, they were lit. It was like almost funny to read them sometimes. I was just like, they drug us really bad today. Like that was, girl, that was uncalled for. We didn't need to
I
be dragged
know.
that
Come on.
bad.
Come on, guys.
It was just
Uh,
impossible. And
yeah.
like everybody in the Motrins Association got together and they're like, we're gonna sue. And then I was like, I'm out.
Still,
Like
yeah.
this is what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Watch this.
How did
And
you
so that
handle
was another thing that was going on to
yeah,
fuel the fire that people
right.
really never knew about, that I was like it was impossible for me to actually operate my
Okay.
last year of business. And
Wow.
I was like, cool, that's the sign I needed. I'm out.
Did you have any kind of struggle with the identity shift from beauty to real estate?
Majorly,
Yeah.
majorly.
How did you handle that?
I would always credit my friends for that because I didn't see myself as anything else but beauty and I
Mhm.
didn't want to, maybe.
Yeah.
So I really struggled with that and I didn't know how to really show up in the professional world in any other space but beauty.
Yeah.
And the more I started to learn, the more I realized that brokerage had a lot to do with beauty and aesthetic. And we were selling this product
Oh,
and selling this
yeah.
lifestyle and selling these stunning homes and properties and
Yes.
staging them and furnishing them. And that's the
Yes.
stuff I get into.
Yeah.
So I
It's so
started to
glamorous.
find,
Yeah.
I found my way in the new world. So that was a part of it. And then just, core friendships with people that were like me, that were doing things and creating things. And like, if you want to say creators, like we weren't necessarily like content creators, but we were
Mhm.
all, my friends were
Makers.
writers, they were
Yeah.
developers, they were makers, they had their businesses, whatever they did, they did. And they were at the top of their game. And a lot of conversations with them, I think, is what kind of kept me going. Cause they were just like, bitch, you have always been a boss. Are you kidding? Like
Right.
you boss us around. I
Right.
go on vacation and you tell me what I'm doing, like
That doesn't end in one industry. Like you're going to be a boss no matter where you go.
they're like, you're always in charge. Get out of here. So that helped. And that's probably the main reason I was able to really figure it out and do it. And then, like it's just something about, like I've always had this experience in Brooklyn. I've always had this experience with women. Like my sister always says, like women just gravitate towards you. She's like, it's your gift and your curse because one, people don't know how moody you are. So they better hope they're catching you at the right time. But, my sister is, she's too honest sometimes. So
Like, do they really know you?
it's like, if only they knew, they better catch you at the right hour. I'm like, not really that hour. It's like, am I hungry is the question.
Right. That's a very important, blood sugar is a real thing. Okay. We got to keep it level.
It's not my fault. But, she's like, people really gravitate to you. So I had met like so many amazing women in the beauty business. And, when I was closing the business, I was really sad. And I was just like, I was scared. I didn't know if I was going to do well in this new business. And I was quite embarrassed because I was like, I got to like put myself out here now as this real estate broker. And I just feel like everyone does that. And then like, they just like say it and then like, you never hear about it again because they fail, And I don't want to be one of those people or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't, that's what it was. It wasn't that. I had made that up in my head. It was like, actually, you've met all these amazing women. They are, a lot of them are, whether it be financial or not, they are absolutely the heads of household. Like they decide where they live. They decide how they live, you know, even if they don't work. That's just the truth of who we are in the home. And I didn't realize the resources I had. And like the last day I was closing, I was like, all I have for these 10 years are all these damn women. That's all I have are all this list. I said, this list of women's names and emails.
Yeah.
Can you imagine complaining about that?
It's funny you say that. You couldn't connect it yet. And sometimes you just have to keep moving forward till you can connect it. Something else you said reminded me of something I heard recently, this idea of, you know, everything is a story we tell ourselves. What we believe is a story. It's a story you choose to believe. So you could believe, hey, I'm a failure, I'm no longer doing this business. Or you could change your story, tell yourself a different story, and all of a sudden you feel better. You have something else to look forward to. So you change that story in your head at some point, right?
Yeah.
When did you change that story? And then how did you move forward to pivot into real estate?
I think it came really early, like really quickly. You know, like for me, I'm very like honest and I'm very truthful with myself and people if I'm in conversation too. I'm just like, I've never felt the need to put on this facade so that you like me or whatever. Like, you know, I'm likable, like whatever. So I'm just going to be me. And if you don't like it, that's your business. You know, that's you. Yeah. So I go through those real emotions. So like the fear was very real and I went through it and I expressed it. And the sadness was very real and I expressed it and I allowed those feelings to go through. And I think that's why I get to a powerful space very quickly, because I acknowledge the other spaces. So when I'm on the phone, you know, calling one of my girlfriends and being like, I don't think I can really do this, you know, or I don't know if I've done so much over here. Like, why would I go, you know, like I've talked through those things versus pretending everything is fine or not even acknowledging that I'm scared. I go through my emotions. And I say that, like, I'll tell people like, I'm a very emotional person, but I don't find that to be a bad thing because one, you know who you are, you know where you stand with me, you know, it's truthful. And also like I express and experience my emotions. So therefore I don't have to suppress them. And, you know, if that means you kind of have to deal with it, I'm sorry, but I'd rather you deal with it than me suppress it. You know?
My best friend and I were talking about this recently and like, you know, just how much needless suffering we put ourselves through if we choose to suppress our emotions versus being honest and dealing with that rather than dealing with the holding on to it, like about to blow up inside. Like that's not helpful.
Yeah, it's just so damaging. That I don't even have the self-control to do that, like, to be honest with you. I'm just like,
you never had that problem.
No, I'm like, here, you deal with it. Poof.
Woo, that's gone.
When you said that, I didn't like it when you said it, and that's why you shouldn't have said it. And let me tell you something else. Next time you talk to me, that's me. You know what I mean? And like now I'm gonna put it back on you, but because first of all, you came at me with some nonsense, and I'm not holding it. You hold it. That's how I feel about it. Like whatever it is, and it's not about like really being so emotional, just about being clear. I'm just like, you know, this is what it is. So when I was scared going through a transition, I was honest about it. I didn't try to lie and make up stories around it. Oh, and I'm just going to know. I was like, nobody's going to even believe I know anything about houses and they're not going to trust me. Why would they? I wouldn't trust me, you know? And then I started studying. And then I started reading. And then I was like, oh, I actually do know all this stuff. And then stuff kicked in from my childhood because, you know, all of your life experiences come together for this, right? Like everything's already in motion. You just don't know. You're like,
exactly.
You think you're in control. Yeah. That's what's funny.
And you were a homeowner. You were an early homeowner.
I was a homeowner. Like, you know, I grew up in a single family home. So like we knew everything. We knew everything. Like I could put in the garbage disposal if I had to. Wow. I'm not proud of that, but it's a fact. Yeah. You know, like we learned how to do everything. I remember being in college and my little sister was 15, maybe 14, and she came to change my flat tire.
Wow, I'm impressed. Color me impressed. Yep.
Yeah, and she was like, why wouldn't you do it? And she was like, why wouldn't you do it yourself? And I was like, oh, I didn't want to mess up my nails. Like that was the reason why. Not because I didn't know. I just didn't want to mess up my nails. But that is how like I was prepared for this world, like all the way along. And even with the business, like everything was my responsibility in the business. Commercial space, it's like from the walls to the sidewalk is your responsibility. So I knew how to put in a new sidewalk. I had done that. I knew how to put in 9 boilers to heat a salon with, you know, 9 pedicure chairs in a bathroom or 2 bathrooms, whatever it was. So I wasn't going in blindly. I knew what I was doing. And I just needed my friends and people that loved me and supported me to remind me, you got it. Like you totally got it. And also just like shake all that fear and you know, and doubt out.
Right.
And then once I got on the road with I was just on fire. And
Mhm.
once again, I'm hanging off the back of the cart trying to hold on because the business was growing so fast and I could
Yeah.
barely hang on to it. I was like,
Right.
there are times I would have 15 clients, 20 clients. I remember having 22 clients one time, and this girl that was working with me was like, do you really have 22 clients? I was like, count them out.
Why would I lie? Why would I
Right.
lie? That's what I mean,
Exactly.
right? It's like, you remind me of the Black Panther moment. Like, remember who you are. Like, sometimes your friends have to remind you, like, remember who you are.
Yeah.
Like, you know who you are. Your first year, you didn't feel like, oh, I need to go to the bottom, right? You started out at like a big firm and were just like learning everything you could, reading all of that good stuff. Talk to us about that, like how you made a transition without feeling like I am going to try to go to the smallest firm ever and work my way up,
Yeah, I've always been like very big pond, small fish energy. So I've always felt like I wanted to be around the big fish. I always felt like people that are the top of their game, if you're just in the space and in the room, whatever falls off of them lands on you. And I felt like that was enough.
Uh-huh.
That was enough. I was like, if I could just hear them talk, if I could just see how they move, if I could just watch what they do, I thought that was enough. So I literally just was like, what's the number one firm? And within that firm, what's the number one office? Yeah. And that was how I decided where to go. And yeah, that's scary, but it ain't that scary.
Yeah. How did you package your transferable skills at that point? Was it just like a matter of who you know, along with I owned in Brooklyn 2 locations, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah. Well, I was doing both for the first year, and that made it really easy of a transition because like I would be in the real estate office in the morning, and then at night I would be in the salons. And then I was like, oh, okay, so all of this is like lead sourcing, and all of this is actually like building your clientele. At the time, my business, I'm trying to build more clients there because I have the same client body, but I see them far less times per year. Like I went from having people in there regularly to having people in there as a treat. And I'm like, this is not a treat. This is maintenance. Strictly maintenance, you know? So it was like, okay, so that's a thing. That's a thing. And then it was like the marketing was a thing. And then, the events was a thing. And then big in beauty, big in brokerage is understanding how the trends are changing and also staying on top of the education. So much was transferable. And then the personality is included in the package. So I'm me in both spaces. Yeah. So I realized, I was like, oh, this is going to be a thing. So my only fear was, would people trust me with this transaction versus the other transaction? And I don't even know if I had that fear or if it was instilled in me because people were telling me, like, why would somebody want you to sell their house? Like, you're a beauty girl. And that pissed me off a lot. And it really like sparked a fire in me. Cause when you say that to me, I'm like, I'm gonna sell more houses than you. Watch this.
Yes.
Are you done?
Yes.
I hope you're done because I want to make sure you eat these words. Like, and that, you know who you are and you've eaten those words. But that
thanks for
like,
listening.
Please talk crazy to me so I can be like riled up. Right? Because I'm like, oh, word. Like that's when the Jamaican comes out. Like, that's how you feel. Watch how I'm about to land in first place.
Yep. You did something really smart. You realize that your customer base, it was a customer base, and you could start to email them, tell them what you're doing, real estate, gems, all this different stuff. And then lo and behold, they did want you to sell their house. They were like, oh, you're doing this now? So, but yeah, you said you've been doing email marketing.
Big time. And it was a really great, like I did an email once a month, sometimes twice a month. And it was just a really great client source. It was just wonderful because it would remind people to come in. It would let them know about promotions. And at that time, I would share a lot about like businesses opening up and new services, like really what I do now, I did then. And when I got into real estate, something told me like, let me see if they're interested. So I sent out a letter. When I decided to close and finally like walk away from the real estate business, I had like 11 deals in contract and I was like, okay, we're done. Like, this is it. And my whole team knew what I was working on. So it wasn't like a shock to anybody. They had known for like 6 months. So I decided that goodbye letter should be a hello letter as well.
Ooh.
And I sent out a letter and was like, if you care to follow, this is what I'll be doing now. And I think at that time, I always say this, I think so many people just gravitated to a big change in that way that they were like, is she really going to do this? That's crazy. Yeah. Or maybe like, I think she can do it. Or maybe she ain't gonna be able to do that. Like whatever it was, people were very drawn to it. And I got such great response from it. So many like letters of encouragement and like let us know, keep us in mind. But also people be like, oh, so where are you? Like, are you working this market? Like literally writing back to me like, oh, I'm thinking about selling my place. So I immediately got leads from that one letter that I thought was so hard to write and like, didn't really want to write it. I sat on my couch and I just wrote it, didn't edit it or anything. I was like, I'm not even editing it. I want it to be so raw and so real that you're like, it has typos. Yeah, it has typos because I was upset. Leave me alone, And I wrote the letter and I just hit send and I sent it out to like whatever the client body at the time was like somewhere between 23, 24,000, minus bounce backs or whatever. And it just was like, ding, ding, ding. It just was coming in. And so in that, I did find some leads. And like the very first client that I worked with to sell her house, and I did a bang up job on that sale. It was just like, I remember the top broker in the office coming back and telling my sales director, who's that new girl? She's going to be a problem. She is going to be a problem. And I was like, until this day, I was so complimented by that because they are such a big deal. But they were like telling my sales director, like the type of event that I did, how I did it, like what I had there, that, just how thought out and the details that I had thought about. They didn't even know who I was. And I'd been in the office for like 4 months every day. They had never noticed me. And then they end up at this preview and they're like, they come back to the office. They're like, listen, there was this chick in there and she's going to be a problem, and they're like, literally, she's been sitting 2 feet from you for the last 4 months. But I love that. And I think that, shout out to Leslie Marshall of Corcoran Group, because that gave me that last bit of hoorah,
Yeah, that confidence, that push.
Yeah. Because, you're doing the best you can. You don't really know what you're doing at that point. And that's okay.
Yeah,
like that was enough. And then for somebody at her level to be like, oh, she's going to give us a run for our money. And it was just the best thing my sales director could have shared with me. And it was just time. So I decided, I was like, I'm going to keep the brand name, but close the business because I want to do something with the brand name eventually. And I don't want anyone to be able to take that away. But I was ready to go all in with real estate. And I was excited to go all in with real estate. So I did. And that just led to a really big first year, like really great first year sales, rookie of the year.
Talk your ish.
Oh, yeah. It was good. It was like, I think it was 14.1 or 14.3 million in revenue.
Wow.
And that could be one house now. But when you're talking that time, I'm selling $400,000, $200,000, $600,000 properties. So to do 14 million was a lot of
first
work.
year. Oh my gosh.
It was a lot of work.
Tell us a little bit now that I've seen Own in Manhattan, I'm like, oh, I need some of these commissions. Like, all right, tell me how
don't you know?
I need these. Well, how does it actually work? Like how you talk about leads, how do you get houses to sell, and how does real estate broker world work? Because even though you're under a group, you're not an employee of the group, right? So
no, you're an affiliate.
Question. Yeah. How do you get the houses to sell? And how does it actually work when you're a part of a group?
That's such a great question because nobody asks that and everybody thinks that you just work for Ryan and he just hands you listings. I'm like, where? If he does, I'd like to have a conversation with him.
The show kind of blurs the line, right? It makes it seem like it does. Yeah.
Like if you go into real estate today, Nicaila, your clients are going to be your aunt, your cousin, the person at the bank that you talk to, the girl in your class. Like, they're going to be people that would trust you with selling their home. So you go into real estate, who's going to trust you to sell their home or help them buy the home? People that truly trust you and respect your breadth of knowledge. And that's what's hard because when you're new, you don't have that.
Yes.
Or most of the times you don't have that. So you need to get that and get it fast and then demonstrate to these people that you have it. And so for me, it was like what any new agent would have to deal with is convincing people that you're here for the long ride. You're not just trying to chase a quick buck, that you are actually learning the industry and studying and understanding things and that you're actually having success. So I felt like that same email marketing letter was going to be the way to teach and share what I was learning. And I didn't know anything in the beginning except for like the core foundational stuff that I walked into the business with. So I figured I could share as I learned. And so as I was learning things, I'd go on Facebook and be like, did you know that appraisers do blah, blah, blah? You know what I mean? Like that's how I would share. But after a while, you start to show people that you are in it for the long haul and that you are learning, that you are progressing. And I never shared any success I had. Like I worked for almost like, I would say 8 months before I ever shared that I had sold anything.
Wow. Why is that?
But by that time I had sold like everything. I remember one night, that was a time where someone had said something about breaking the internet. I think maybe it was like, I don't know, it was like some social media person had broken the internet. So I was like, I'm just going to break the internet tonight, put all my sold houses up. And I I just pushed out like I think I posted like 10 or 12 or 14 houses that I had sold or something like that. Wow. And I felt like that legitimized me because people were like, wait, oh, she's really doing this. Yeah, I'm really doing it. I'm really doing it. So my first year I sold 21 properties. And then from there it had buzz because it was like, who's this? And then it's like the Polish Bar people were like, we told you she could do it. Like, like that's our girl. And it was like, you don't know her? Well, then you late. That was like the community energy. So new people were getting to meet me because of that type of accomplishment. Like I went to Compass that year and they were like, you're the rookie of the year. But the business I had done, at Corcoran. Yeah. But Compass brought me in and was like, based on your first year volume, you're going to be our first rookie of the year. You're the rookie of the year. So you get a little bit of buzz with that. Nice. And so that starts to build your brand reputation in real estate. And I already had my brand reputation built in Brooklyn and in beauty. So they kind of started to come together finally. And that allowed me to tell my story better.
Got it.
And then it's like anything. You get one great guest, another great guest wants to interview with you. Well, as you do one house successfully, somebody else wants you. I mean, literally, I got a brownstone. Thursday, I got a brownstone. I got my second brownstone that Friday.
Nice.
And all Polish Bar clients, by the way, all beauty clients.
And as far as how it works, so what's the benefit of even being under like a real estate group if, like you mentioned, they're not necessarily giving you listings and you aren't like a 401k salaried employee with guaranteed anything?
Well, they give you services. So every real estate brokerage gives you specific services that you essentially pay for. So while they don't pay you, you do pay them from your earnings. Okay. And that can be anything from marketing, structure, training, education, legal support, operational support. Like I can walk into my sales director's office and really pretty much I can bring any scenario to him and he's seen it, done it, and knows exactly what to do. Okay. So mentorship, the situation with Ryan is very unique because like he's done everything at a 100% level. Like he's done every and anything. It's just like very strange. There's like nothing you can really talk to him about that he hasn't done. Yeah. So it's like that level of mentorship and that level of support. So that's what you pay for out of your commissions. And so like if you're getting, if you're selling a house and let's say you make 3%, 4%, 5%, 1% commission, then you pay the brokerage a portion of that for those services. The rest is yours for your business. And then you take those monies, you give yourself a salary, you give Uncle Sam his salary, and you put your money back into your business because you got to keep marketing yourself. You got to keep doing events. You got to keep doing print material. You got to keep having a name and investing in your listings, whatever it is. It runs just like a business. To me, it was a far better business for my brain and my personality. So while I loved beauty and still do, what was interesting about going into this business was that I just felt like my personality was a better fit for it. Because I've always been kind of strong, and I think I was a little bit too strong for beauty, maybe.
You're sharp. You immediately come across as sharp and just a businesswoman, just a business boss. And so, it almost seems like so natural to me. I can't believe it wasn't your first business out the gate, but I understand how everything leads to the other. So I want to get in two more questions before we jump into the lightning round. And the second's going to be about content. The first is going to be about the fact that Ryan came to you, right? So he came searching you out, seeking you. Why do you think that was? Was it for the reality show as well as being a part of the Serhant team, or was it for Serhant before reality TV was even in the picture?
Because I'm a star. That's why he came in.
A rock star.
All of the above. I don't know. You have to ask him, but I think it would be, I would imagine it would be how I marketed myself and my product. So I market, a part of my job is to market myself. This is what I do. This is how I do it. You want to work with me? And then my product. This is what I'm selling. This is why you want to live here. This is bomb. Have you ever thought about Cobble Hill? Well, let me teach you about Cobble Hill. So I think it was partly one and partly two. I think there were accolades too. Like I had like my biggest year that year as an independent agent. I had recognition. I was I had gotten, I think, like top Black broker in Brooklyn. And I was doing some things. I was making some waves, you know what I mean? And I think it's partly that. And most people that meet me, they're like, you need to be on TV. Like that's, but I've decided, I was like, it's just because I'm so dramatic. Someone said to me the other day, oh, Tricia, don't be so dramatic. I was like, I am like literally only dramatic. What do you mean? You don't know me.
and it's an asset. It is an asset about your personality. So flip the script on them.
I don't think the TV show was, well, I don't know. You know, with Ryan, you never know because he keeps things close to his chest and he's got like 700 things going on. And he's that person. He will not say anything, but he knows exactly where everything's supposed to go. It's like very, very like superpower.
He got it in the back of his mind.
Yeah, so, like I always call him the superhero, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's just because you work for him." No, not really, because I thought he sucked. I'd say that, but it's because of what I've observed. Like he's very much like a superhero in this really weird way. I don't know if you meet a lot of people like that, but I think if most people meet him and spend like any amount of time with him, they're like, "Yeah, I see what you're saying." Like that's just what it is. So I don't know what his plan was at the time, but I'm sure once he met me in that very first meeting, I'm sure he was like, "Oh, this
chess piece." Yep.
Yeah, like she gonna sell and talk shit too. Like she's And my interview with him was for a sale, like a real estate broker position, but it probably may have been for TV at the same time because I gave him a run for his money in the interview for sure. Because again, I'm coming out of a situation where I'm very happy at Compass. I don't need nothing. Y'all need me. So, I had that arrogance about me. He managed that arrogance really well because he's like this super successful and humble person. So he's not studying me at all. He's just like, they're there. Whatever you say. You know what I mean? And not because it's whatever you say, but it's just because like, he's like about getting things in order so that he can line them up to be successful. And if he's got to manage 27 different unique personalities to do that, he's going to do it, beautifully.
Yes.
The biggest scene that people know me for is where I'm like telling him, I asked you to be the Lil Wayne to my Drake. And that's what I still expect of you. But that's literally what I asked him in the interview. I was like, I see you're a big deal and everything, but can you handle creating a big deal or having another big deal come from or through you? Or do you need the light? And I thought that was a fair question because I thought that he was a huge star in his world, but I didn't know. And again, I didn't pay attention to him, so I wouldn't have known. But I didn't know if he'd ever produced a star. And I felt like if I work with you, you're going to produce a star.
Yes.
Is that what you want? Because if it's not what you want, you're going to prevent it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to help. You're going to prevent it because it's going to happen with or without you. But do you want to be a part of it?
Yeah.
And are you okay with it? I thought he could do it better than anyone else, but I didn't know what his energy was about. Because some people feel that when the light is going to you, it somehow dims me a little bit, right?
Or it's a threat to them. Yep.
Yeah, and other people are like, light it all up, shit. Light all of it up.
We all light up when the light's brighter on all of us now.
Yeah, it's just brighter. And I felt like that was a fair question to ask someone in his role and in his position. And I felt like I needed to know because that's what would help me make my decision. Because I was just choosing to start at a new brokerage and it was just like whether it was going to be his or someone else's. And his response to it was just so genuine and sweet and good that I was like, I think I love this man.
What was the response? Share it here.
I was like, whatever I said, I was like, I'm ready to bomb because this is always my tagline. I know I'm the shit. Like I'm always saying that, and I know it's crazy, but I don't care how you take it. You know what I mean? Like if you get uncomfortable, then you probably wouldn't like me anyways. So like it's better that we know it now early on. Like let's not waste 3 days. That's a way
to think about it too. Let me just
let's
put it
not
out
waste
there.
3 days. Like you're gonna be offended by me tomorrow, so you might as well be offended now. So I was like, I know I'm doing the good thing. I know I'm on the road. I know I'm the bomb. I mean, you clearly got your whole thing built out. Like he's a superhero. But I was just like, I just want to know, like, I feel like I'm the next Drake and I'm looking for my Lil Wayne. And if you can't be Lil Wayne, then like, I don't even know what we'd be talking about. And then like, he's looking at me and he's like, so in this scenario, exactly, am I Lil Wayne or am I Drake? Like, that was his question. That was his response. And I was just like, oh yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Because he's like, what part do I play in this? Like, that was the energy. Like, let me know where I need to stand, sit, and do, and let's get it done. What are we doing again? Like, he doesn't even know what we're doing, but he's all in. And I was just like, that's it. This is it. This is my work husband. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's talk about marketing yourself because you're really good at marketing yourself. And no matter what industry you're in, you have to know how to market yourself. We met because of this content panel that I was moderating. And you said something interesting about the fact that, content and sharing, documenting has actually helped you close deals, get attention on properties that you're listing. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that like once I got over myself and the hurdle of like putting myself out there, because that's hard to do. It's hard for us to do, right? It's hard for people to see us do it. those friends and family members that judge you.
Yes. And it's under the guise
Here
of
she
like,
go
they're
again.
worried about you, right? Like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, you're out there. You're not perfect out there. Oh my God. Like you're showing flaws.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's the energy of like, here she go again, always talking
Oh,
about something. You know what I mean? Like,
what you talking about now?
like, yeah, it's always something, posting. Like, not me. I don't need to do all that. It's like, nobody asked you to. I'm working. You mind? Excuse me.
Yeah. I got work to do.
But exactly. And it's work, and it's, I enjoy it, but it's work. You know what I mean? I also enjoy selling houses. That's work, So it's like, just because it's work doesn't mean I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I found that people could relate to wanting to change your life. And I felt that people could relate to wanting to try something new.
Yeah.
I also thought that everyone could relate to the scariness of walking away for something you know and walking into something you didn't know. So when I started to get that feedback that I felt was so positive and inspirational to me, where people were saying, I've thought about that and I didn't do it because of XYZ. I want to see you win. I want to see you do it. Like strangers just pouring that love and support into me, was just, it would just close the gap for me. It was like everything I needed, honestly, because I had everything else. I had the pieces. I just needed the belief and the strength. And then it became very comfortable to share my workflow, to share my workday, and, my listings and the neighborhoods and how you become a good real estate agent and all the elements of the work. It just became that. And then eventually I got comfortable sharing who I was as a person too.
Yes.
And that seeped out very slowly because I have a very strong personality. I'm very, very, strong-minded. I'm very much who I am, and I don't really hold back too much. I'm not the best at that. Everyone in my family is. I will say that I am not. So I felt like, was I comfortable doing that? And maybe it's age, maybe it's wisdom, but I got to a space where I was like, they can deal with it or not. I don't care. They can like it or love it. Like, it doesn't matter to me. And then the show happened when it needed to. Because I remember, like, before the show became a thing, I remember always being in a place of, I just want to exist in the world and be so good with myself that how anyone else feels about me doesn't matter. And that was something that was like a personal goal of mine, like to just be so at one and so at peace with self when things are good. And also, more importantly, when things are bad.
Yeah, that's such a good goal.
Yeah, that like I just wanted to be that. So I actually thought the show would be great to propel my career, but I also thought the show would be really great to answer that prayer, like to force me to do the work to get to the space of being able to be criticized and scrutinized and judged and still hold my head high and still feel full and whole. And I thought no better time than now to try. And I didn't know that it would. Like, I didn't know how it was going to be seen. I didn't know how I'd be perceived. I definitely didn't know how it was going to be edited.
Right. That's such a like a exercise of faith. And I think you had a good edit. Like, I don't know, how's it been for you? How have you experienced it? What's the feedback? Like, have you gotten criticism? Because I feel like you had a good edit.
I feel like we just had a phenomenal team. I just feel like we really had a phenomenal team. Shout out to Bianca Barnes-Williams.
I think you come across very good. And that's always scary for reality TV. Like, are they going to make you the villain or the whiner? We know who the whiner was in that.
Don't we though?
Don't we though?
I just feel like they can't make you something that you didn't demonstrate, one, right? And then two, I'm at work, people. I'm at work. Well, how you act when you're at work? I'm at work, And then even at work, I talk shit. Like, that's just my personality. Like, I do this with my clients. They do it with me. They look forward to it. We are I'm a real person. And I'm happy about that. I feel like that's a very free place to be, is to be real. So I didn't know, but I felt like, you know what, you're not going to know. And maybe you're just good either way. And I felt like that was going to be super empowering. And I prayed about it a lot. I did a lot of work. I did a lot of therapy. I did a lot of reading. And I did a lot of decision making to just like block out certain personalities and people in my life and people that I knew that couldn't understand that level of development that I was seeking. Because I really wanted to get to that space in my life. And so the show was like a time clock, because it was going to run down and eventually the show was going to be made public and everyone was going to see what I'd been doing and who I was and how I moved through the world and how I talk in my smart ass mouth. And they were going to like it or they were going to like completely hate it. And I was going to have to deal with the feedback. And I'm just really proud that, one, I was received really well and that I was depicted really well, but I'm more proud that everyone that knows me is like, that's 100% you. That's just who you are. Like, you are very strong. You come out the gate saying whatever you want to. You soften the blow eventually with humanity and empathy. And then you're real, you know who you are. And, you pop shit to Ryan sometimes because you're frustrated and, and he talks you off the ledge ever so often, and he'll tell you if you're doing a good job. He'll tell you if you're complaining, whatever. You work with your partner. I don't emasculate my partner. No. I really allow him to lead in so many ways. I don't know if that was really well depicted because we didn't film a lot together.
Yeah, there's only so much you can show, but I know from meeting him in person with you, I love the way that you guys support each other without it feeling like, oh, he's like behind you, like he's supportive, he's part of you.
Not truthful. He's so like, he's led the way in so many ways. You know what I mean? And like, if I go into a day like the day we met, right? Yeah, we're doing a summit, but the night before that, I was at an event that morning at 5:00. Good Morning America picked us up from the house. And, so when you see me, I'm on my third event in literally 18 hours. How am I able to do that? I'm able to do that because of that love and that support and that person that is not behind me. He's ahead of me, clearing the path for it to be made possible. There are times where I'm like, okay, I'll be speaking about this topic. Jeff will get in the weeds and really like make sure my notes are proper, run through with me. He's like, okay, let's go through it again. Because I'll mess around and sit up there and talk to you about something I'm supposed to be talking to somebody at 2:00. Like that is how much is going on in my head. And then also being with a partner that can manage that. Like so many men run from that because they're like, you're too important.
Yeah.
You're too, You're too,
But no, you don't get that energy at all from either of you. And, I shared that picture of Barack pointing at Michelle at the DNC and, you DM'd because that is the energy y'all get. Like, he's like, look at my wife. Like,
yeah, that's I shared that picture many times. I said, that's my favorite picture. I might print that and put it in my house because I feel like, I don't think that enough credit goes to him for that. Like, this is somebody that taught me real estate. This is somebody that taught me when I got into the business. You know what I mean? He was 1.5 years ahead of me and he taught me. And Jeff will be like, oh no, this is the student outpacing the teacher. Like the humility it takes to even say some shit like that. I would never say no shit like that.
Even if it was true, it's like.
Even if it was true, I'm like, she aight. But no, he is, he can do that. And also know that he's a great broker. And that in a lot of ways, he's definitely just as good as me. In a lot of ways, better than me. He's strong, he's powerful. Like, we've been pitching together all week. And there are times where I've been like, oh, we only got that because of you. Like, you saved the day that way. You know what I mean? Like, but people are different. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the kind of person where the team has to have my name. He's the kind of person where he's like, oh, did the team make money? Like, that's, we're just different in that way. And I wouldn't be with someone like me. I don't know that he'd be with someone like him. So I think that helps. And, in our relationship, we're always just trying to figure things out. We have the same challenges that every relationship has. But one thing I know that Jeff understands is he signed on to be with a very powerful woman. He signed on for that. When I met Jeff, I was going through a huge transition, didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And I literally sat there and was like, I hope you can handle me when I'm back on my shit again.
You did not. You have the nerve.
I did. Ask him. He was like,
you always knew who you are, and that don't matter.
I was just like, you're meeting me, you're meeting me here, but like, so I don't sit here a lot. I'm usually sitting over there, and like, are you going to be good when I'm sitting over there? Because like, if you're not, then maybe we shouldn't do this. Like that was, I said that to him on our first date, and I know, and he didn't really know a lot about like College Bar. He brought his mom there a couple times, but we never met. He met my manager, but he never met me. And he was like, why would this girl say some crazy stuff like that to me?
But you just know, and you just reminded me, since we're having a transparent conversation, I'll have moments, like even after the panel, I'll be like, I'm really good. Like, I'm a star. Like, I'm really a star, though.
Like, literally. So, like, Jeff went to journalism school at FAMU. He has been, like, he is a producer through and through for 13 years. We have Emmys. Like, I have Emmys I'm looking at right here, 5 feet from my where I'm sitting. When we left, he was like, you could tell the minute she opened her mouth, this is what she does.
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
He's like, it was just a calm, straightforward clarity with her, ease. You know what I mean? So believe that you're a star. You're a star.
I do have those moments, and I think it's a little voice from God, because I definitely have the moments where like I said, I come out of a fluster of diaper changes and I'm like, what is happening? But I just need a few calm moments and I lock back into who I am. And the reps help too. Like, so I don't know about for you, like the reps, once you've done something, it's like, oh, this is what I do. This is what I do.
Yeah, and I'm definitely at that point now. I'm like, don't prep me for nothing. Let's go. You know what I mean? Because I feel like whatever it is, it'll be fine. Yep. And even if I haven't been through it again, I'm going to be honest and be like, well, I don't really know the answer to that question. Why you ask me that? Whatever it is. And also, like, I think that life and being just a woman and definitely like a mom, like I'm a stepmom.
Yeah.
It is so humbling that it starts to try to trick you that you're not the badass boss that you are.
Hello.
You know what I mean?
Hello.
Like your diapers are no different. Like we're getting all of our locks recoded today. And like, so I got to hang up with you and go to Lowe's. That brings me down a notch. You know what I mean? My girlfriend's like, why are you going to Lowe's? Yes. I was like, because they can't deliver in time and the guy's coming at 6:30 and da-da-da-da.
So, I'm like,
you know what I mean?
What's happening?
The dog's chewing on my purse when I'm not paying attention. Like, it's like all these like, you know, ridiculous things I have to deal with that bring me down. But like, we can't let those things throw off the fact that we are shining stars. And I think that's why I gave myself the name Superstar at Serhant, because I was like, if I title myself that, first of all, people are going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Like, why did she get that name? Because I took it. That's
why.
That's why I get that name. Secondly, I need a constant reminder of who I am in this room and the light that I bring. And so I apologize if that title throws you off in any way, but that's my title. And that's what I need every day to remind myself. I am here to shine and I am a star.
Yes.
You know, and maybe you need to give yourself, maybe you need to be the star at your company, the star at Side Hustle Pro.
No one's preventing you from doing that. No one's preventing you from titling yourself Side Hustle Pro.
No.
But
people ask me that, like, how'd you get that title? I was like, oh, it's self-titled.
You know, I absolutely enjoyed watching you on the show. Like, I was just eating it up. I loved it from the first episode all the way to, I finished it all the way through the last episode. And I just, you were a star. And what I also like is there's a scene, I think it's the last episode, where you're talking to someone who left and, you know, they're like, do you have absolute loyalty? Would you ever consider this? And you're like, oh, I would consider anything, everything. Like you said, a line like that, right? And I thought, I love that you were so bold and transparent about that. Like, look, I love you. Maybe not love, there's coworkers here, but you know, I like this. We good. But I'm never going to say never. I'm never going to say I'm locked in here forever. What informs that thought process? I definitely am one of that school, but what were you thinking when you said that?
I just feel that way. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a thought. It wasn't anything that was going up here. I truly feel that way. Like, I don't owe nobody nothing. And it's good until it's not good, you know? And I know I'm on a Serhant show for a Serhant brokerage talking about I would leave in a minute, but I would.
And that's just real life. And that's just,
you know what I mean? And it's just what it is. Because trust, if what I was and who I was and what I did wasn't meeting their needs, that would be the same conversation. Mm. So I don't have that level of loyalty. Now, I am the kind of person where I give it my all. I am very focused on my contribution. And so these organizations will always win by default because I come in and do the damn thing and then you look good.
Yep.
Right? Or I do it under your umbrella.
Yes.
So I like to feel that I have good relationships with my brokerage because I take my job very seriously and I do my job very well. And whether it's sales, whether it's marketing, whether it's brand ambassador for the Serhant brand, whatever it is, give me the hat. I'm going to wear it. I'm going to look good in it, whatever it is. So because I feel that way, I have every right to say, if this no longer serves me, I'm out. Like, I just think that that's something that's okay. And like, you don't get anywhere in this world by being loyal. Women tend to feel that way. Like our addiction to perseverance is nonsense and loyalty is nonsense. Like, I don't know why we do that. I don't feel the need to do that. I will leave. And I said that on the show. And, you know, Jeff had a moment because he was just like, well, damn, like people were giving me a hard time. I was like, let them. But let them know that you're with a powerful woman. I'll leave any situation, any person, any man, any job, I will quit. I am a quitter.
Well, as someone who has quit her job, I can say the same as far as if it's not serving you as a human, as your goals, you know, with a plan, like, I'm not one to hold on to a job that is no longer serving me.
I quit my business.
You quit your
my
business.
Job, and then I quit my business. Don't play with me. Do not play with me. You out, yes.
And I hope that,
Oh no, we don't like it here. Like
I
I will
hope
get up from a
that
restaurant, I
empowers
will
you.
leave a party,
Yeah.
I will cut an end to anything. And it's just like my nervous system can't take all that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like my self-esteem can't take all that. It's a hard enough struggle to be out here every day putting on your blush and your lipstick and making sure you are presentable and you fight the good fight.
Yeah.
What I can't do is be in a situation where people are making it harder for me. Like I've had such a wonderful experience at Serhant. I really have. Like dreamy.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. And I also had a great experience at Compass. I had a wonderful experience at Corcoran. You know what I mean? Like, will I be at Serhant longer? Yeah, because it's like the vibe. The vibe is more my vibe. The culture is more my vibe. Let's also be honest, I'm early there, so I'm contributing to the culture, right? And that's awesome because I have a say in the direction of the culture, and I feel that I'm respected there. I feel that I am looked to there as a leader, and that's awesome and that's wonderful. So I'm very, very happy. But in being that happy, I will also always state if I was not, I'd be out, just like that.
That's it. I think that's a perfect note to transition to lightning round. But I hope that inspires someone today who's holding on, who's feeling some crazy sense of loyalty and you don't know how to let it go. Like just let it go.
Yeah, let it go.
Let it go.
For sure.
Let's transition to the lightning round. Just answer the very first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
I don't know, but I'll try.
All right, let's do it. Number one, what is a resource, not Google, that has really helped you in your business or businesses that you can share with the audience?
Facebook.
Oh, why is that? I know I said not Google, you said Facebook, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, how do you use Facebook for business these days?
You know what? I'll give you two. Facebook, because I have found that the majority of property owners that I know are on Facebook and are on Facebook very heavily. I like to sell brownstones, like to sell townhouses, and that's just happens to be where those individuals in my life are. The second resource I think that is really helpful to me is I like follow up and I like to say thank you in traditional ways. So I always, right now I have a stack of thank you cards in my bag. I always have like stationery.
Yes.
I put things in the mail.
Yes.
I follow up and say thank you.
Oh, you're such a classy woman. I love you.
Yeah, I'm very much that person.
Carlene
like if you invite
Roy
me
is also
somewhere,
like that. Do you know Carlene?
I don't know her, but she does events, and that would be in her DNA. That's in my DNA. I did events for my beauty business. I do events for my real estate business. So if you've poured into me, I want to say thank you in some way. I love getting closing gifts. So the way I tie a bow on things is probably something that I would want people to know because I think it's so important. Not when you're done, but when you close it out. How do you do that? So for me, with my clients, it's really great closing gifts, or it could be, a thank you card. I'm definitely that person. If I walk out of an interview, I'm dropping off the card in the mailbox on the way home. Just how you leave things.
Yes, I love that. I need to do more of that. Number two. Who is a Black woman entrepreneur, non-celebrity that you would want to switch places with for a day and why?
I'm trying to think. Non-celebrity, then how would I know who they are?
I know, I forget your circle is so... All right, who comes to mind? Who are you thinking about?
Naomi Campbell.
Not Naomi. Okay, why?
Is that random?
Why? That is random. I didn't expect that. Why Naomi?
Because she's always been depicted as being like super powerful, borderline bitchy. And I'm curious to know if that's really the truth or if that's just how people perceive her because she stands up for herself and advocates for herself and doesn't take anybody's shit. And I know that she's somewhat Jamaican, so I feel like it's more B than A. I just need to know. I would want to know that, Plus I'm sure that her days are insane because she's pretty much lived a luxury lifestyle her whole life. So
and now has like a young child. Yeah.
I know. It's like amazing. I think it'd be kind of cool. And I could also list out another 50 people that I think are like that too.
All right. Number three, what's a non-negotiable part of your day these days?
Non-negotiable part of my day, I would probably say is my sleep and my exercise.
Ooh, you're so good.
Non-negotiable. And I struggled with that for many, many years and many, many decades and the consistency of it. But once I tightened that up, everything else fell into place. The sleep first, because obviously you can't really get a good workout if you're exhausted.
Yeah.
So you got to get the sleep in order. You must get the sleep in order. I could have a whole podcast with you about sleep and brain health. That's a whole different conversation. And then moving your body.
Yes. Oh, we got to have that side conversation. I saw you post that in your new Get to Know Me post.
I lecture all day. I'll never shut up about it.
How is she doing it? Okay. Number 4, what is a personal trait that has helped you significantly in business?
Definitely being detail oriented. Definitely being powerful in my delivery, in how I come across, in my ability to sometimes be intimidated in situations and not show it because I'm like, I need what I need and I'm not leaving here till I get it. So definitely my power, and I think my personality.
Yeah. And then finally, what is your parting advice for fellow Black women entrepreneurs who want to start their own business but are just worried about not having a steady paycheck to look forward to?
You should be worried about that. It's every reason why you should be. And, being an entrepreneur is hard enough. Business is hard enough. You don't need to be worrying about your light bill while you're trying to carry that on. So come up with a really solid plan that will allow you to pursue being an entrepreneur, but not be completely stressed all the time. When I opened both of my businesses, I had reserves that allowed me to be in a situation to not be earning money every month or every week while I was doing that. And that is super stressful when you're not earning money and you're working. Yeah. But at least I had some type of a cushion and not much of a cushion, but a cushion nonetheless, so that I could, because you can't learn and you can't study and you can't get up and read the materials and the trends and the market news that you need to when you're stressed about money. So,
absolutely not. Yep.
Create a plan that's going to work and organize a plan that's going to work. Don't just like jump into it. Like really put together a plan that's going to work for you, that's going to allow you the ability to take on this new thing and not be worried about A because you're focusing on B. So I think people need to take more time to think about it and also be a little bit more practical with their plans. And I'm not saying that you can't dream, but I am saying that Con Edison ain't trying to hear all that. Like, I am saying that your bills are still going to come. And you don't want to damage your credit, like trying to pursue a dream or things like that, because then it makes it harder for you to do more things with your businesses. Absolutely. 6 months, a year in. So come up with a really solid plan, minimize your expenses, and put yourself in a situation where you can afford this hobby, because it's a hobby until it makes money.
I love that. That is really solid advice. So where can people connect with you after this episode?
So I'm Love Tricia, spelled Tricia, not SHA. Love Tricia Lee everywhere. You name it, I'm there. I also have a website that's tricialee.com, which has all of my socials. It has all of my listings. It has all of my everything. Like, anything I'm putting out is also on my website. So if you look at tricialee.com, you can find me as well.
Awesome. Well, Tricia Lee, thank you so much for being in the guest chair. Thank you for doing this so quick, too. This was awesome. And I can't wait for everyone to hear from you. So with that, I will talk to you guys next week. Hey guys, thanks for listening to Side Hustle Pro. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other side hustlers just like you to find the show. And if you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on Instagram at Side Hustle Pro. Plus, sign up for my 6-bullet Saturday newsletter at sidehustlepro.co/newsletter. When you sign up, you will receive weekly nuggets from me, including what I'm up to, personal lessons, and my business tip of the week. Again, that's sidehustlepro.co/newsletter to sign up. Talk to you soon.